Hello. Welcome to another Grimm's fairy tale. Semana Santa, nice and slow. We're just going to read one story. And what the heck, I'm going to read it to you. The story is a great story. Important lessons for all of us in this time of pandemic in which we all have to stay home. It's called Lazy Harry. Harry was lazy, and although he had nothing else to do but drive his goat daily to pasture, he nevertheless groaned when he went home after his day's work was done. "It is indeed a heavy burden," said he, "and a wearisome employment to drive a goat into the field this way year after year till late into the autumn. If one could but lie down and sleep. But no, one must have one's eyes open lest the goat hurts the young tree, or squeezes itself through the hedge to a garden, or runs away altogether. How can one have any rest or enjoy one's life?" He seated himself, collected his thoughts, and considered how he could set his shoulders free from this burden. For a long time all thinking was to no purpose, but suddenly it was as if scales fell from his eyes. When your scales fall from your eyes, you see the truth. It's all revealed. Now I can see. "I know what I will do," he cried. "I will marry fat Trina, who also has a goat, and can take mine out with hers, and then I shall have no more need to trouble myself." So Harry got up, set his weary legs in motion, and went right across the street, for it was no further, to where the parents of fat Trina lived, and asked for their industrious and virtuous daughter in marriage. Industrious, she works very hard. Virtuous, she's so good. The parents did not reflect long. Birds of a feather flock together, they thought, and consented. Birds of a feather flock together. It means like people who are alike hang out together. If you're lazy, you hang out with other lazy people. For example, Trina and Harry. So fat Trina became Harry's wife and led out both the goats. Harry had a good time of it, and had no work that he required to rest but from his own. Harry had a good time of it, and had no work that he required to rest from his own idleness. He went out with her only now and then, and said, "I merely do it that I may afterwards enjoy rest more. Otherwise one loses all feeling for it." But fat Trina was no less idle. "Dear Harry," said she one day, "why should we make our lives so toilsome, hard, working hard, when there is no need for it, and thus ruin the best days of our youth? Would it not be better for us to give the 2 goats which disturb us every morning in our sweetest sleep with their bleating to our neighbor, and he will give us a beehive for them? We will put the beehive in a sunny place behind the house, and trouble ourselves no more about it. Bees do not require to be taken care of, or driven into the field. They fly out and find their way home again for themselves, and collect honey without giving the very least trouble." "You have spoken like a sensible woman," replied Harry. "We will carry out your proposal without delay, and besides all that, honey tastes better and nourishes one better than goat's milk, and it can be kept longer too." The neighbor willingly gave a beehive for the 2 goats. The bees flew in and out from early morning to late evening without ever tiring, and filled the hive with the most beautiful honey. So that in autumn Harry was able to take a whole pitcher full out of it. They placed the jug on a board which was fixed to the wall of their bedroom, and as they were afraid that it might be stolen, or that the mice might find it, Trina brought in a stout hazel stick and put it beside her bed. Stout, big, strong one. And so that without unnecessary motion she might reach it with her hand and drive away the uninvited guests. Lazy Harry did not like to leave his bed before noon. "He who rises early," said he, "wastes his substance." One morning, when he was still lying among the feathers in broad daylight, resting after his long sleep, he said to his wife, "Women are fond of sweet things, and you are always tasting the honey in private. It will be better for us to exchange it for a goose with a young gosling before you eat up the whole of it." "But," answered Trina, "not before we have a child to take care of them. Am I to worry myself with little geese and spend all my strength on them to no purpose?" "Do you think," said Harry, "that the youngster will look after the geese? Nowadays, children no longer obey. They do according to their own fancy, because they consider themselves cleverer than their parents, just like that lad who was sent to seek the cow and chased 3 blackbirds." "Oh," replied Trina, "this one shall fare badly if he does not do what I say. I will take a stick and belabor his skin with more blows than I can count. Look, Harry," cried she in her her excitement, her fervor, and seized the stick with which she used to drive the mice away. "Look, this is the way I will fall on him." She reached her arm out to strike, but unhappily hit the honey pitcher above the bed. The pitcher struck against the wall and fell down in pieces, and the fine honey streamed out on the ground. "There lie the goose and the young gosling," said Harry, "and want no looking after. But it is lucky that the pitcher did not fall on my head. We have all reason to be satisfied with our lot." He's so happy. And then, as he saw that there was still some honey in one of the shards, he stretched out his hand for it and said quite gaily, "The remains, my wife, we will still eat with relish, and we will rest a little after the fright we have had. What does it matter if we do get up a little later? The day is always long enough." "Yes," answered Trina, "we shall always get to the end of it at the proper time. You know, the snail was once asked to a wedding, and set out to go, but arrived at the christening, baptism. So, very late. In front of the house, it fell over the fence and said, 'Speed does no good.'" And that is our lesson for this week. Speed does no good. Yeah, there's a whole section in this book of just tales about lazy people. And on the one hand, it's kind of making fun of them, obviously. On the other hand, it's like, a little laziness every once in a while is not so bad. So, every once in a while, it's good to stay home on the couch. All right, have a good week. Bye.